In today's Urbandoned video, we take a look inside one of the derelict remains of the Cold War, an abandoned government bunker last used in the 1980s. Many of these sites were constructed in the 1950s, caused by the developing Cold War, left mostly neglected when it turned out that they weren't required. This one in particular contains many fascinating artefacts and military remnants sealed within it for decades. Join us as we explore the entirety of the wartime structure to discover what is left. Remember to click subscribe and press the notification bell to never miss a video. In our last episode, we asked the question what should happen to the artefacts we discovered in the abandoned hospital. We had various interesting responses, but have selected this one from Frosty Gaming, who suggested that the leftovers should be given to a museum or a collector who knows of their historical value. We agree, especially with the fact that this would prevent them from being unnecessarily damaged while stuck in the asylum. This week, we are wondering whether you prefer the visible camera shake whilst we move around in our videos, or would prefer if we purchased a piece of stabilising equipment for smooth walking. Let us know below to possibly feature in our next upload. In 2021, we ended up outside this bygone complex in passing. Situated on a collection of government-owned properties, it wasn't hard to work out which had been vacant for the longest time. From the front, the bunker almost resembles a bush, with extreme overgrowth covering its walls and roof. It was built in the 50s, when progressed by the Berlin crisis and Cold War, Britain decided to introduce regional war rooms across the country. These would be inhabited by military personnel and equipped for conferences and operational planning, with each area able to communicate with local authority in the central war room in London. With there only being a couple of entrances into the fortified building, it was almost impossible that we would stumble upon an open access point. Therefore, we were completely shocked to find it wide open and welcoming. Look at this huge blast door. So thick. It is right at the opening of the site. It's like an industrial space here. Is this a boiler wheel?
Yeah, diesel generator. Diesel gen, man.
Oh, the old gauges too. As soon as we had entered the dark facility, it was as if we were transported back in time. The machinery in this necessary section, such as a diesel generator for power, tanks for water and a fan for the air ventilation, all seemed very dated, coated in dust. Due to the concerns of the important bunkers being targeted if there was a bombing, its shielding defences meant that it was made from concrete and there were no windows. Our experience would be in the dark, although the electricity had functioned only a few years prior. This machine's crest of arms has been encrusted in dust of some weird white sort. There's another blast door. Stairs going down. Oh my god. We are on ground level now, so it's going to go underground. Security. Wow. Look at the gold design of everything in the hooks. It's also old. You can see where the security would have all their keys for each door there. But aside from that, it's very stripped. I didn't even notice this when I first came into the security room, but some sort of contraption here. Looks like it would work on weights. I'm not really sure what it is. but it's made out of brass. Fire control room. Another empty room. Oh my god, I've just noticed this goes 2 stories down. Definitely goes underground. The control room would look over this window here. Looking into that huge room. See a massive map on the wall. This light fitting. So retro. I wish more of what was in here was left, but sadly it seems quite stripped. Even the sign for what this room was is gone. This one, however, canteen. Does look like there's some bits left. Oh my god, and these look so old as well. The different products. Probably a lot more people watching the video will recognise these, but not me. 1978 dated newspaper.
Although we had a distinct lack of recollection with these items, it was still interesting to see the styles of packaging used back then compared to now. The relatively small canteen also gave an indication as to how many people would work inside the bunker at once.
I hadn't heard of this make, but it went out of date in 1990. Luckily there's none in there or it would smell. As you can see what's happening to the tea or whatever was in those glasses in the back. You can see this vent running everywhere, and into each room there's little gaps where air would come out. Because there are no windows, and I assume at times the blast doors would be shut. People will be separated completely from the outside world. Let's go downstairs though. I'm hoping that down here will get a bit more interesting because it's very empty up top. See what's down here. Not really come across a building like this ever before. CMHQ. Yeah, this is a bit more like it. Look how old these chairs are. And again, another window looking into that room where the guys are.
The reason for the curved windows surrounding the central hub of the bunker was to stop reflection, meaning anyone in these rooms would have full view of the arrangements going ahead.
Just found this, which actually explains what the security weighing mechanism was upstairs. They pass stuff up through here. I don't know whether it would be money or literally anything. Nothing too big though, because that's the compartment it would go in there, and it would be lifted up into the security room. Ready? Yeah, so they've worked out how to get the weight to come down. There you go.
Paper messages would fill the wire basket, lifted or lowered from above ground to below it through the use of ropes.
Here's another tank room running parallel on the other side. Public relations. Not much in there, but there's a lot more furniture as we keep going around. Wow. This is pretty special. The size of that map. Looks like it's boasting the area that this building would serve. Whether it will be blurred or not, I'm not sure at this point, but we'll find out. This room's like 2 stories in size as well, and everything kind of focuses around it.
See all these little control booths we're going to have to check out as well.
This timeless space was known as the Operations Room, summarised as the command centre for the region that the War Room protected. On the large map showcasing the boundaries of the district, it also highlighted various nearby control posts that it would probably be in consistent contact with. Occupied now by many documents and old-fashioned furniture, the bunker is a rare survivor of a purpose-built war room, unaltered over years of abandonment. It features a two-storey sunken design with the HQ visible on both levels. While the Cold War struck fear into civilians, the government erected similar structures in all of the major defence regions in England and Wales. They were aimed to protect the functionality of regional government and their conversation with fellow areas in the growing likelihood of an atomic bomb. When the Soviet H-bomb was detonated in 1953, it influenced the government to adapt their war room strategy, creating a new form of shelters, leaving most of the bunkers like this one useless before even being used. The site would be handed on to the council, who would utilise them as a base control if there was a fallout.
Just having a look at some of the stuff on the desk. There's quite a lot of these message forms. I've seen a few of them around the place. Seem to relate to the signals that this place would do in the telecommunications. So much cool paperwork. I wish we could spend a bit longer doing it, but we are pushed for time today.
Some of the papers were far too intriguing for us to ignore, as we tried to keep to a tight schedule on a time-focused trip. A few years ago there was even more records in storage and other remnants, but these were sadly removed. It is unknown where they have gone and why the power was cut around the same time. Nevertheless, we eventually moved onwards from the operations room, because the corridor that circled it had much more possibility for interest. Already we'd spent more time in the small fortification than most complexes of a bigger size.
Two more really cool maps, although one is very faded, showing a nearby borough. The coloured one is a bit more further out than the last one in the main room, but still shows the same area of the country. But it seems split up into sections, probably where different armies are, I'd assume, but can't be 100%. Oh wow, it's the signals room. Oh my god, so much paperwork. Oh my god, this is so cool. Can you imagine all the workers here on the phone in times of desperation? Civil defence field cable lines. And there are hundreds of these little pink slips.
Inside yet another vital point of the bunker, the signals room would be where messages were received and sent off. The long row of telephones would be noisy with voice, whilst different information was distributed to other regions.
Switchboard teleprinters. This door must be kept closed. Guess this is like the nasty bit of the telecommunications centre. In the other room with the seats and cubicles, it's all sectioned off into a nice, clean environment, but here's where all the technical industrial stuff would go ahead. Not much of it is left though. Just checking each of these little control rooms. Or maybe they were just offices overlooking the main centre. The lone chair facing the corner in there. And there you go. That's pretty much everything. Skipped some empty rooms, but the main feature is probably that for me. And the telecommunications stuff and switchboards. Very cool place. I'm very glad we've finally seen it.
Taking our time whilst exploring the war room had been a step backwards into the past. The small example of Cold War history was still providing, even though many of its features have been lost and no effort has undergone to preserve it. These structures, which in some places are museums disused or demolished nowadays, offer us a chance to envision a world where decisions were made due to a mass panic in a worrying scenario. It was a remarkable experience that we had never had before to wander through one, assisted by the perfect condition of the bunker due to its heavy-duty build. We hope you enjoyed joining us in the coverage of the underground facility. If you were fond of the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to never miss a future upload. Here are some of our photographs captured at the abandoned bunker. If you like the look of them, check out our Instagram page below, where we share images from our explores months before they are seen on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We hope you liked one of our most fascinating explorations from last year. Be on the lookout for the second episode of our Glasgow Schools coverage soon. See you next time.